E-United, and Rise. That is just a horrible, horrible final. We can then on Complexity, of course, LG, E-United, and Mind Freak. So you could argue a little easier, but one thing's for sure. If Complexity want any chance at all of making playoffs, this is a must-win, and you can really make the same argument for LG. But map number 1 of the series, we're heading over to Valkyrie hardpoint.
I'll tell you what, this man on your screen right here, Formal, has to have a gigantic week for this Luminosity lineup. You've seen the types of damage he can do when he's in the rhythm and he has things going. And speaking of a rhythm, right now it's all Complexity. The first 25 points going their way before Luminosity, they're going to break on in. Now taking some points in their favor as they wipe the map of all the Complexity players. They're now looking ahead towards the upcoming hardpoint.
That was wonderful from Captain John, just to break straight into the hardpoint, see if they can secure the final 20. But as you can see, the rotation coming in. Slacked has the support of Cap as they try and watch the cross. This is a beautiful pinch from Slack. Unfortunately, Ricky and Sensor both too worried about JCap there, who ultimately does fall. As to Slack, actually, it was Dashy that picked up the double, as now John trying to go for that rotation himself.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be saying Dashy's name a lot throughout this series, and it's actually crazy to think about. Like, every team out there knows that when you're going up against a Complexity, you have to shut down Dashy. You have to find a way to do it. But no one's been able to do it so far. The man just continues to drop absurd numbers, and I always bring up the stat that JP tweeted one time. He goes, whenever Dashy goes negative in respawn game modes, like the win rate for Complexity plummets like near 20%.
Wow. That's tragic.
It's such a drastic drop-off.
That's extremely low. But then, of course, you look on the LG side of things, you think, well, if there was one man that could shut down Dashy, you look at the likes of John. Of course, he's had a very, very good year, in my opinion, in terms of just how well he's been able to play with that sub. And Valkyrie, traditionally, since being added into the competitive circuit, is a map you've seen him flourish, but it's actually going to be Sensor who starts things off with some streaks, already with one. Just an assist will do to try and find his mortars, and then we'll see if he's able to find the tier 3 streaks. But he's another one of those players that in a big series like this against LG, you need to see Sensor step up.
And he's been talking a lot about his division selection. So previously in the final, in the week before this, he's using a lot of airborne hunker.
Yep.
And he's just getting stunned up a lot. This time he's switching around to armor, trying to play a bit more slow around the map, a bit more reserved. And you can see it paying off here. I mean, he's got a glide bomb. That's a great start for Sensor on a force spear. If he could get more, this might be the first time like I've ever seen Sensor get fully streaked out in this game.
Well, that's an AR fight against Formal.
Did we just
just back away. Just back away. There's Slack.
Oh!
Nicely done. That's tier 2. He's going to be rushed looking for tier 3. Gets it. A wonderful start from Sensor. 6th streak. Looking for more. It's not over yet. 7 and 3. The start from him. Complexity 72 and 54. Now with the tier 2, tier 3 streak as well. I'm curious to see when he decides to actually call them in. Obviously, you know, you look at the likes of Storage with 25 seconds left, probably not optimal. Rotation and Exile, still probably not optimal. Probably Smokestacks, where we're most likely going to see him.
Also worth noting that he's using the Mortar Strike over the Artillery Barrage. So whenever we talk about like Office, the hardpoint that's coming up next after this, you could use the Artillery Barrage to block one of the 2 doorways and like force the other team to fight around other parts of the map. But actually, the Mortar Strike, there you go. It picks up 3 kills. But look at the spawn for Luminosity. They died at that side entrance in the Office, and they spawned literally 5 feet to the left inside the hardpoint. So it really doesn't do anything.
Looks good for stats, though.
Yeah.
Right? 11 and 4, a 3 streak. Make that 11 and 5 now. As ultimately falls. Dashy with a bit of a team kill there. LG a little blessed in terms of that rotation. Maybe there was a little more pressure from Complexity. They might have spawned out, but ultimately based on the positioning, not going to happen.
And every time we talk about stats, we bring up that there are times on the map where you find useless kills, or kills that don't really matter. That's an example of 3 kills that go in favor of Sensor that don't really have an impact on the map. You saw LG, they spawn up right inside the hardpoint, and now they're playing a little bit of catch-up in this game as they're currently down by roughly 20 points. So this is good scrap time for them to get.
20 seconds left on the hill, and as you say, a 20-second deficit. They are able to pick up all of Office. They will actually tie things up here. Curious to see if potentially Complexity want to send maybe one player through. No, it was Sensor that thought about it, decides to rotate instead. Right decision. LG ready and waiting.
And this man on your screen, you brought him up a little bit earlier, John. He's been the X factor, to say the least, for this Luminosity lineup. And ever when we talk about John, we always talk about his standout performances, but as of late, he's been struggling. I mean, take a look at his stats. So his overall KD is a .91. Wow. 0.9 in hardpoint. He's only averaging around 47 engagements per 10 minutes right now. And in Search and Destroy, that's where we've seen the biggest drop-off for John. He's got a .74 in that game mode. And we always talk about his playmaking ability. It's just uncharacteristic to see from him.
Is that in the past week?
That's from stage 2, the beginning of stage 2 through Anaheim to this point right now.
Wow. I'm sure if you compared that to the likes of stage 1 stats, that is just a
complete 180.
A complete 180. You're absolutely right. But in this one, John at least having a little bit more success. 17 and 10. However, LG still down here. 125 to 98 the score for Complexity. Bear in mind, Sensor, of course, still with a fighter pilot. And one thing that we've seen on Valkyrie, more so than I feel other maps, when you have a fighter pilot and you hang on to it for so long, you essentially just run out of time before using it, so it's kind of better to use it early, I would say, on a map.
Early, use it in transition to a hard point.
Right.
Just make the rotations easier on you as well as your teammates. You know, if you can find 1, maybe 2 kills with that fighter pilot, just that extra little pressure you relieve off of the map could really help out. And speaking of John, it's great to see him having a great game here, but he has to be stepping up to the plate. I mean, look at JCap 8-16. Formal -1, slacked around even. So John right now, he's just picked up the slack that JCap's leaving behind, and right now still Complexity with around that 20-point lead, but as it stands, Luminosity controlling the ventilation room, and you also have Formal playing for spawns for the next hard point.
Oh, John with a nice double there. Can extend his streak to 4, but again, you would love to see some extra utility. Earn those streaks, right? If you're going on these big kill streaks, you know, 4 or 5, try and earn those streaks as well. Just relieve a little bit of pressure, especially considering that they will know Sensor, of course, has that fighter pilot. If they've been tracking it at least. Has 13 seconds left on vents. Complexity should be good to get all of that time, to be honest with you. And again, they're keeping that cushion of a lead of around about 20 points pretty consistently so far.
Yeah, it's that situation where, like, Luminosity will break in, they'll get, like, the first, I don't know, let's say, like, 30 seconds of a hard point, then Complexity break on in and get the remaining strat time. The fire pilot gets called in there, but why?
Why?
And he called it in from the angle, like, I guess he was using it to clear out, like, the top right-hand side of the map so that his teammates could pinch around through spawns. Of course, we had the full information. We can see that nobody was there for LG. They had a complete inside side. One guy vents, 1 guy office, 2 inside the new hardpoint. So the fighter pilot doesn't get any kills, but it does give you that presence of mind and information that you can safely play around the back for spawns.
Well, now, Complexity were able to break straight in, but it's LG that, once again, re-break. 29 seconds left. John trying to find one. Sensor shuts him down. Now over to Formal. That's 2. Formal looking for 3. Beautiful snap to find the headshot. And, well, Formal's feeling himself as he looks to try and get on MLG Twitter highlight reel. Looking for all 4. Not going to happen ultimately. Caught reloading there. But again, big play from Formal. Gives him the scrap time. Once again, tied game.
And now it's the rotation over towards the storage bunker. John falls. Next up to the plate is Slacked. He gets taken down as well. So it should be Complexity here winning the rotation. Formal playing for spawns. He's going to tuck himself away in that back left corner. Just going to lay down for the time being. Easily spot Sensor. Goes for the shot.
Ow.
And now his spot's given up. They know his position and they take him out.
Red miss from Formal. You've seen him pick up those kills with ease throughout his Call of Duty career, but not that one. It's now over to Dashy. He's got himself a double. He's trying to keep control of this hill for Complexity. This is big, big time. Could essentially put the game out of reach for LG. If Dashy's able to pop off a little bit here, turns around, not gonna find John, but luckily has a teammate there to trade. Still 28 seconds left of storage bunker, and again, this is getting scary now for LG.
Complexity have came to play, man. The best thing to see from them right here is that there's not a large margin of separation between kills between all of these players. A lot of times when you look at Complexity, you're like at this point in the game, you'll have Dashy with like 50 kills, and you'll have Sensor with like 15. You'll have Ricky somewhere around like the even mark, maybe like 25, and Blast he has such a wide margin of where he could be at. But everybody's, close, within 6 kills of each other. This is great to see from Complexity. It's a complete team effort from them.
And that's a perfect hold of storage bunker as well. And you can see what it's done to the scoreline. Now you're putting a lot of pressure onto LG to try and replicate exactly what Complexity just did. Now on Office, they realize they kind of dug themselves into a little bit of a hole here. They need to be winning the fights in the hill, but now the pinch could come through for Complexity. Dashy looking to find a couple of players over to his left-hand side. Cap's going to be the first one, and again, this could be a perfect time for JCap to try and step up. 13 and 23, it's been slow for him. Slack, luckily though, jumps in for a double. Slack looking for potentially 3. Sensor hasn't packed up. No, only 3 shots left in his gun. Actually will fall there as well. Big play from Slack, earning himself streaks as well.
Yeah, if he could get fully streaked out, that could be something that brings Luminosity right back into this game. With 20 seconds remaining now on Office, this is a good time for the remaining LG members to think about the rotation over towards the smokestacks, hiding inside the dead body to secure the tier 2 streak. Now just 25 points away from the fighter pilot. Luminosity, they're still in this game.
And Complexity cranked on the pressure. They get a full 60 of their own. LG reply in tune. Full 60 for them. Slack, of course, is still with streaks. Glide bomb didn't connect with the artillery barrage. You have to consider, maybe you call it in to secure the fighter pilot.
Right now.
And also just kind of break the new hill. You have to as well consider 240. 10 seconds is all they need for the likes of Complexity. Now you've earned yourself a fighter pilot. This is going to be very, very tough for LG to do.
But Complexity, they're still inside the hard point. Laying down inside the doorway, it was dashing. That forces Slack to call in the fighter pilot. How many kills can he pick up off respawn? Just pushing Complexity further and further back on the map. It's 2 total as LG break on in.
Dashy's still alive. They never cleaned him up. And Dashy could honestly just be the playmaker. I can't believe it. They were so worried about him. Complexity breaks straight back into the hill. Cap now, he's going to fall. Surely Complexity close this one out. 2 more seconds is all they need, and they will steal map number 1.
Let's see it. Let's get it, Complexity. They came to play. You see the intensity they're bringing on the stage here as they close out in the final seconds. You love to see the smiles on their face as well. And it's a complete 180 in mood as you take a look at the LG players. They look mad. They look pissed. They know that this is their playoff hope on the line right here in this series.
It really is, especially considering, you know, you have to think about potential tiebreakers as well. That's something to consider if 2 teams are tied, your head-to-head count and whatnot. But a wonderful start for Complexity. Now, pressure truly on this LG squad. Curious to see if maybe they can try and bounce back in the likes of Search and Destroy. But, I mean, that's a game mode that we look at, and we see Dashy just go off time and time again. That realistically, it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe this is a 2-0 Complexity lead.
And that's a huge map win for Complexity because just like I was bringing up on the desk, like a lot of these maps, statistically, they favor Luminosity. I was kind of calling out whoever did the vetoes for Complexity coming to the series, but it looks like it's paying off so far. It seems like they prepared well on this Valkyrie hardpoint. Now, as we look ahead in the series, I believe we have an Ardennes Forest Search and Destroy coming up next. This is also a great map for Complexity. You know, we've seen Blastville time and time again, clutch after clutch. Like, if he could continue to ride this momentum wave off that first map, I could see Complexity maybe starting off to a 2-0 lead here.
This could be very scary for LG. They almost have to now come out and take this game too. Really make sure that they don't let the momentum shift too far into Complexity's favor. But again, you saw the look of the players after that map. They know as well as we do, right? The storyline is you have to win this game if you want any chance of playoffs. Not the best start, and the players know it.
Yeah, I know we've been talking a lot about LG, but Jess actually had a chance to catch up with Sensor from Complexity heading into the series. Let's hear some words from Sensor.
Thanks, Revan. Yeah, well, Sensor, as you know, he's a very confident guy, and every time I talk to him, he always says, yeah, we're feeling great going into this match. In this case, he said, comms are good, vibes are good, you know, all we have to do is just gun them. I did also speak to Luminosity, and JCap he said, they go into every game feeling confident, but I could also tell that definitely the pressure was on as Luminosity are neck and neck with Complexity. You know, he said, we can really only afford to lose 1 more match probably to still make the playoffs, and we still have to play Rise and Optics. So I asked him, what exactly does this match mean? He said, well, I'm not going to say that it means everything, but pretty close to it. So I think the pressure is definitely on. Revan, Ben, back over to you guys.
Man, I swear, every time we throw it to Jess and she talks to Sensor, the first words coming out of her mouth is, oh, Sensor says he's feeling good.
Yep.
He's feeling great. He's feeling good.
Feels good.
Every time. But just piggybacking off what JCap said at the end, how it's not like at that point where it feels like everything to this Luminosity squad, but I feel like that's the type of mood you have to bring into this type of series.
Yeah, it's one of those, all right, Championship Sunday, we're in losers bracket. That's how you have to take it, right? You got to win almost every single game. And, you know, you mentioned obviously Optic Gaming Rise. E-United's in there as well. Let's not forget, they've looked pretty good as well. So for me, this really is crunch time for LG. It's, yes, okay, maybe you can afford to drop a series, but realistically, I don't think you can.
It's that sense of urgency that you have to bring to the table. And we're talking about an extra $500,000 that these guys are playing for the opportunity to play for. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you were to ask me, you know, would I like an extra $500K in my pocket? Like, yeah, I'm gonna want it. And if you're just joining us now, it was Complexity coming out hot in that map number 1. Got a little bit close at the end, and we thought that Luminosity were gonna be able to turn around as Slack got fully streaked out. Entering that final hard point, unfortunately, no plays made off the back of it. Now we look ahead to that Ardennes Forest Search and Destroy Game 2 here. And just to bring up the map counts once again for both these teams, Luminosity, they are winless since the beginning of Stage 2 on this map and mode, whereas Complexity are 4-2. So this is the best opportunity here for Complexity to come and jump out to a 2-0 lead.
That would be huge for them. In terms of the rest of the series as well, your Ardennes Forest CTF and Ardennes Forest Hardpoint. And if it does go the distance to a Game 5, a London Docks Search and Destroy. But just based off your stats alone there, Revan, you have to look at Ardennes Forest and think, well, surely Complexity go 2-0 up. The kind of mood that was set as well from LG, kind of the camera pan across the players, and you're looking at them thinking, nah, that doesn't look like a very confident team to me. Meanwhile, on the other side, Complexity, all smiles. I can hear them laughing from where we are right now. They're laughing. The vibes definitely are good. Obviously, Sensor mentioned it when he was speaking to Jess, that the vibes of the team are great. And, well, he's obviously correct because we can hear him smiling and laughing away.
Look, that's the one thing I've always preached to all the teams that I've led throughout the years is if you have fun playing together and if you bring that same type of mood into the tournament environment, no matter what type of game you're playing, like if you have fun, if you bring that light mood, like you're going to find wins and you're going to be playing at your best game in and game out. But if that's the scene we're going to be setting here, Complexity with a great opportunity to jump out 2-0, I will say those final 3 maps in the series are strong for Luminosity, so it's not going to be an easy, close out of the series for Complexity. You still have to bring your A game each and every map.
And it's worth mentioning, when you have the momentum in a series like this, when you are Complexity, you have to take it. you cannot give LG any potential way back into this series because you do go 2-0 up. Like you said, you look at maybe Ardennes Forest as a map which LG are a little stronger on, but when you're 2-0 up, you've got all the confidence in the world, and hopefully that can seep through into Game 3.
At that point, you just play maybe a little bit risky, right? High risk, high reward, try to close out the series, catch your opponent off guard, and that's what we're going to be looking for as we head into this second map. Search and Destroy on Ardennes Forest. This one does favor Complexity as Luminosity winless since the start of Stage 2. And John, with the sniper, airborne scoped. Let's see if he can make something happen with it.
Well, you said high risk, high reward to close out a series. Maybe John thinking high risk, high reward to win map 2, but they are winless, so I guess you get to that point where you think, well, let's just try something maybe a little new, a little different. As early on the trades come through, Sensor with first blood. Slight was able to shut down Blast though, so you got yourself a 3v3. However, bomb is being planted, and well, John with the sniper rifle, he's pretty good.
Yeah, now that Dashy knows that John has a sniper on the map, you know 100% that next round Dashy's going to bring one out of his own. But this round's still going on. It's Luminosity with the man advantage, but they're playing on the retake. Sniper shot missed there for John, but maybe it opens up the angle for JCap. No, it doesn't. Ricky finds 2. Now the pressure all on the Slack. He's going to challenge Ricky as well. And listen, that's not really a fight you're going to win. And I will say, on these offensive rounds, teams have gotten so much better at pitching in through mid and isolating the defensive player that plays over towards top plat, taking over that position, just gives you free control of that B bomb site. Easily done for Complexity.
Of course, it's worth referring, of course, they had control of that at the very, very start when the bomb goes down. John snapped him off. I'm not sure who it was that he sniped.
Dashy.
Was it Oh, yeah, of course it was Dashy. Just removed Dashy from the map, but Ricky, so smart, instantly realizes, hold on a minute, that is the power position we need, jumps back up, and he finds himself a double kill. And I am curious to now see if maybe Dashy does say, all right, John,
100%
all right,
you.
I can tell no,
come on.
He doesn't want it. Maybe on the next attacking round, uses it to try and find a pick, because John has obviously pulled out a sub for this round. They have a massive amount of success, but early on, it's going to be Sensor that actually just killed 3 people. Sensor almost killed the entire team.
Oh,
okay,
you gotta
Doug,
give Sensor the
Doug, what'd you have for breakfast? I want to know what it was. Was it some
Is he wearing sleeves?
Protein pancakes? What was
He's wearing sleeves out there. What kind of Doug we getting right now? He's frying everything. And granted, you know, Dashy did tag everybody up there at the start, so Sensor was gifted like those 2 free kills, but just playing off the back of one another. You know, Dashy opens up the lane, Sensor pushes right on through. You love to see the teamwork coming out here for Complexity, just following it up from that Game 1 victory.
Just storm straight through LG, and LG just, I mean, what's the game plan now, right? You need to change something up a little bit. Yes, it's only been 2 rounds, but still, you can't allow one player to just storm straight through the entire squad. As note Sensor now dangerously close to streaks. You'll see the smokes come out for the potential A push. First blood comes in again. That's 3 for 3. Complexity first bloods, and now Sensor has to back away. That push is not going to work out in his favor. He's so close to streaks that honestly, it might, especially considering we're on Ardennes Forest, be worth just waiting to see if anyone wants to push through the B site, play it super passive, and try and get a free kill in the back.
Agree with you there. See if somebody gets a bit overly aggressive. Steps a little bit too far out with the safety zone. As now Ricky and Sensor working together. They will spot Formal here. They do have him isolated for the time being. But the biggest thing for Complexity is earning these streaks, and they're just going to lay it down. This is great
so
play.
bold. This is
he
so
has
bold.
cover from above. Sensor might get streaked out. If he could back on
use
up.
it. I would use it.
He could use it to bring them back into the round, but he's feeling the pressure quick. There's a guy around mid-U. It's going to be Ricky to fall. Sensor does get fully streaked out.
Oh my.
Can't get the second kill. You thought maybe for a second, if he finishes up that second kill, pushes out of mid, calls the artillery on the bomb, the tools were there for Complexity to steal that round away.
I was thinking, go straight into the glide bomb. You're going to get information because no one's using Mountain. Instantly hold square, get out of the glide bomb after aiming it probably towards mid-U. That's where 2 of the players are coming from. You know as soon as they hear the glide bomb, they're either going to push you or back away. So you're going to get map control. Obviously, at that point, the glide bomb's doing its own thing. It's on automatic pilot, and you can just stand up and try and assist Ricky in what probably would have been a 2v2.
And it's crazy to think about how little time Sensor has to process all of that information just flooding into his brain. It'd be a great moment there to just pause everything and just let Sensor think about for a good minute exactly how he wants to. And there's the sniper being brought out here by Dashy. First blood found onto John as Complexity start out strong in round number 4.
That makes it 1-1 in the sniper fight now between the 2 of them. I'm curious to see if maybe we get a round where both of them decide to run a sniper rifle. I'm pretty sure John didn't have one in his hand there. But again, another first blood. That is 4 for 4 now for Complexity here in Search and Destroy Ardennes Forest.
Yeah, and John got confirmation that he did have a sniper rifle in that round, so losing the sniper
he did.
fight to Dashy.
Okay.
And, you know, since Sensor has these streaks, you see the majority of these Luminosity players swapping over to Mountain. And Complexity are going to get this information. Glide Bomb gets called in, almost finds Slack, but when you swap over to Mountain, like, you're running the risk of not having Hunkered or not having Instinct. So these grenades are going to have a big impact in future rounds.
And bear in mind, I believe that was a 4v2 when he dropped the glide bomb. Formal obviously gets himself a double kill, makes it a 2v2, now ultimately a 1v2. But surprised to see him invest that, really, in a round which you shouldn't be losing. Obviously, yes, in Complexity's mind, it's use it, let's make sure we win the round. But 4v2, you should feel maybe a little more confident there. As finally, the final kill comes through. And Complexity win yet another round. Still, of course, 2 streaks available for Sensor to drop down. And again, if you're LG, you have to respect it. You have to maybe consider Mountain for that fighter pilot.
Yeah, absolutely trying to buy it out. And because Sensor hadn't died while he earned those streaks, like, it's really easy to pop up the scoreboard and see exactly how much score he has. So LG should know for a fact that that fighter pilot is in play. And it's actually a pretty impactful kill that comes at the end of that round. Being able to shut down Slack, he had around 410 total points. Had he gone for the bomb plant plus 150, he would have been, you know, around, was it like 140 away from the glide bomb after that. So shutting him down, making sure that LG can't get any streaks of their own.
Now, traditionally, when teams have a fighter pilot and they go on the attack, they push B, they play it super passively because they wait for the fighter pilot to pop. So LG should know this, and I'm very surprised they're not just flying at Bell. That's basically the only way to really counter that streak, because now Sensor has all the time in the world. All they need to do is just kind of play it a little slow. They're pre-aiming. There's one. John finally springs into life. Bear in mind, Sensor's still actually in the fighter pilot, so he was out of action for a moment there, but now it's capping a 1v3, and I feel like LG misplayed that. For me, they have to be super aggressive, hyper-aggressive almost at B.
And they did bring a little, once they saw the fighter pilot come in, that's when they brought the aggression. But yeah, because you get pinned in by the shots from the fighter pilot, you get tagged up, and it's like, well, on one shot, I can't really do anything. You get some free kills to Dashy, but that's a big one, as JCap is going to start the clutch hunt here, taking Dashy out of that top plat. But as he gets tagged up, you see Ricky filling in the gap once again. That's something that you see teams, they forget about it. You know, as their player dies over towards top plat, you won't have anybody rotate in and fill in the gap. Ricky's been on top of it.
He never forgets. His teammate dies, he goes, don't worry, bro, I got you. I'll just cover. Of course, he had Sensor down low as well. The shadow comes through, and Ricky finds a very simple kill there onto Cap. And there is still an artillery barrage to consider in Sensor's possession. Of course, best use really is when you get the bomb down. You back away, and you can call it in. However, we have seen recently some pretty bold diffusers come through the likes of artillery barrages, but still, theoretically speaking at least, it's a pretty strong streak.
Yeah, and look, we saw a lot of chat on Twitter as well, people saying that, you know, equipping Mountain has something to do with, like, confusing the missiles dropping from the artillery barrage. It's all RNG based, guys. You throw the artillery barrage, it's a circle. Missiles fall from the sky. Whatever division you put on doesn't affect how those missiles fall into the ground. But here you go, round number 6, kicking off with a bang. It's blessed to open up with 2 quick kills as Plexi take the early man advantage. The sniper now from Dashy lines up the shot, can't hit it as JCap brings it down to a 2v2. Luminosity now with control of that B-bomb site. And
Dashy respects the fact that LG could push him there, and he reps over towards Sensor. They make it a 2v1. Do they still realize they have bomb down? Judging by the fact that Sensor's still looking at that angle, you would assume so. Dashy's actually rotated out here, so Sensor's going to be in that 1v1 with Formal. Of course, Formal's still worried about where Dashy's going to come from, and he's read this play beautifully. Is he going to still be aiming at it, though? Nope. A few seconds off. And Complexity, again, another round. And, you know, you mentioned the stats coming into this one, Revan. You said LG hadn't won it. And Complexity, well, they're going to add another LG loss if this continues.
Yeah, look, Search and Destroy has been rough for Luminosity all year long. Unless it's like a straightforward type of map, like a London Docks or a Valkyrie. They really struggle when it comes down to, like, the mid-round play calls. You know, they have good opening breaks, they have good initial strategy, but it all kind of breaks down when we hit that mid-round. And look, Complexity came to play today. Sensor's having a phenomenal series, and you think about the pressure that it takes off the rest of his teammates when Doug is here and he's coming to play. I mean, he's 8-1 right now with streaks. Like, Blastold doesn't have to do everything. Dashy doesn't have to do everything in order to will Complexity to this victory. Doug is just carrying the team right now.
He really is. And again, still with the streak. Blast another first blood. That is his 3rd, by the way. Sensor with 2, Dashy with the other 1. There's the artillery barrage. That's going to watch the cross back over towards the A side. John trying to rush, and I mean, when you can shoot a sniper rifle like that,
good luck.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Makes it look simple. Bump goes down yet again. That's Sensor's 3rd plant. Bear that in mind in 7 rounds of gameplay. Now all of a sudden, 2v2. Dashy and Sensor going against Formal and Slacked. Did Dashy just spot Formal inside bunker? I don't think he did. Formal, of course, is going to re-wrap. Bear in mind, look how close Slacked actually is to the bomb site.
It's just waiting. Formal around the corner. North of the pounce. Sensor just got the information too. He spotted Formal. Sees one diamond across Dash. You got to turn around. You got to help out Sensor. 20 seconds remaining. He hits one. Brings it to a 1v1, but Slack wins it. It's a good coordinated push in the end for Luminosity as they stay alive to fight another round. And now you have no more streaks remaining for Complexity.
That's a good point. Of course, the artillery rush was used for LG. Now you got a very steep mountain of a comeback to climb. Curious to see if maybe they can get a little bit of momentum back in their favor. Streaks would be huge for them if someone is able to try and go on a bit of a streak. I mean, you look at the like of Slacked, he was very close earlier on in the game. I think he had, what, 410 points, I think it was, before he was finally shut down when he was in a 1v2. Gets to defuse that round, a kill as well. Admittedly, not a lot, but he's the furthest on the team.
Dashy with the sniper, misses that one. But gets information, knows the pressure's coming here over towards the A bomb site. Working alongside sensors well, firing shots to the smoke.
Behave.
It's worked before, but not yet. Still Complexity find first blood.
Oh, and there's the second. Cap's gonna fall. Formal is left alive with John. It's gonna be a 2v4. Make that a 1v4. They have him pinned. They have him dead to rights. Complexity cruise through LG in map 2. It's often in these times of needing wins, you see teams fall and crumble under the pressure. Not Complexity.
As a competitor, these are the moments you live for, and you just have to rise to the occasion. Simply put, Luminosity, they came out flat in the series. Now they find themselves down 0-2. They lost a hardpoint in very close margin, but that search and destroy was not close at all. Doug took over from start to finish. A very comfortable and convincing map win there for Complexity.
Now, for LG, when we talk about strength of schedule, we know they have the best of the best in the division still to play. This was the game coming in, at least. They had to win. They really did. They wanted any chance of winning Stage 2 playoffs, and now they find themselves in an 0-2 hole, needing a reverse sweep against an informed Complexity.
And look, coming up next, it's going to be back to Ardennes Forest for more CTF action. This one heavily favors Luminosity. They're 7-1, while Complexity 4-3.
Well, stats are anything to go by. Potentially, the series does get extended, and maybe the start of a reverse sweep. But one thing is for sure, Complexity are looking fantastic right now, led by a massive performance from Sensor. We'll see if they can close it out 3-0, or maybe we go to game 4 hardpoint. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty World League presented by the PlayStation 4. As it stands on the main stage, a must-win matchup. Complexity 2-0 up against LG, led by the wonderful Doug Sensor Martin, who's, to be honest, playing better than 95% of the players here at the Pro League right now. He truly has been unbelievable. Carried through game 1, carried through game 2. Doug, what you got for us in game 3?
Yeah, I was going to say, this next game for Complexity, just to close out, from here on out, these are the most important maps of the series. When, you have a comfortable lead, as map by map passes on, can't let the other team just linger on and keep them in the series, especially when we look at the stats. Luminosity 7-1 on this map and mode. The odds, they're stacked against Complexity. We said that coming into this series. They were the underdogs coming into this one. You just look at the teams on paper, you figure more talent on the side of Luminosity. Sometimes talent doesn't always win.
You have to keep your eye on this man, Sensor. It truly has been a wonderful game 1 and game 2 from him, but can he keep the ball rolling? Can he keep the momentum in Complexity's favor? Of course, it should be said, really no one from Complexity has underperformed at all. All 4 players have been really, really good, especially in that game 2. Even game 1, you made the point in terms of the kill count. They were all relatively even. It's just exactly what you want to see for a Complexity fan.
Oh, it's been a full team effort for this lineup all series long, but this is the game for Luminosity to bring it back, to start gaining some momentum in the series. They're starting to push on forward. This is the map to do so, the swing game in the series. Luminosity, as it stands, just looking to maintain control of the right lane of the map, trying to gain some footing over towards the bunker side so that they can just pull the flag away into safety. For now, Formal, he's just looking to hold on to the cabin wall, act as a sort of checkpoint for his team. Lock down that whole right side lane so that when the members come up off respawn, you can push out mid, push out over towards ruins, and explore the other sides of the map.
No, Sensor actually puts himself over towards that ruin side of the map. Number 2 on the minimap. See if he gets spotted out by John. Well, he does, but Sensor still wins the gunfight anyway. Now LG, 3 men alive. Now LG, 2 men alive. Slack able to at least find 1. Jacob's going to try and play it past it, but Sensor's just feeling so confident, challenging absolutely everything, and rightfully so. Tries to go for a flagpole. Sadly, didn't really have the support there from his teammates, and now you have to look at Blast to potentially try and win some streaks.
You respect them going for the play, though, and we talked about Luminosity. Their backs are up against the wall. It's time to jump into an Astro Gaming listen with Luminosity.
Top plat if you can.
Fake stun top plat.
I'm just watching ice. Look at my fort, John.
Yeah. He's left side, close, broken in top plat. Broken in top plat. Enter dog. Alright,
I'm still one shot.
Oh, he's outside broken, weak. Still there. Absolute.
Ice, this guy. Ice and left. He's going for a flag.
Need that.
Ice, this guy. Ice.
Wanna pay.
Nice. Push up.
Ricky. I get map control. I'm in both AR. He's gonna be bunker, guys.
Yep.
What did you say? It's 100% side bunker. Yep, he's there.
I needed it.
He's a little weak. I shouldn't shot. He's a little weak.
I want to peg, 2.
I got him.
Oh.
Nice, 2. One back to base, blast, and one side bunker. Side bunker. And back to base.
Inner. Dash.
On their flag and enter. We're spawning back to base.
Dash still in.
2 on the peg. 3 side bunker. 3 side bunker right now. Or in bunker. Could go fire alley.
One's first, and no mans.
Yeah, fire cut.
First and no mans.
I'm gonna go off you.
That's two. Blast is
Go mid cut.
No, where are you?
Fire tank, face though.
One's first, one's no mans.
Second, I'm stunning over no man.
Fire nice. One's first still. I'm pushing this guy first.
I'm checking
Bow.
Bow. He's good. Top second. Just camping no mans. I'm absolute right now.
Second ramp. We
In bunker. Dashy. Straight out front. He's in front, preamming you.
one back that belly.
One shot.
Got me. Fire alley to mid.
You on me? One shot.
Weak blast.
He's weaken you.
I'm gonna help you left.
He could be close broken heady already.
Nice, that's one. I spawn here. I'm stunning guys.
Doug and Rick.
They're gonna have cap control again.
Yeah, they're gonna have wall. John, I'm with you.
Only top plat.
I'm gonna help them broken quick.
Oh, he got me, Bo. He's outer.
Got that map. Stuffing. I got him. One's gonna be you, probably.
Yeah, you cross
fourth.
You push on fourth?
Last guy's gotta be wall.
Oh, it's fire tank blasted. Look for Doug. Nice. Last guy's fourth to you. I think he went you or straight down the mid. I can't tell.
I'm gonna go wall.
I'm pretty sure he's you.
Broken down.
Nice. I'm getting wall.
Alright, Ricky just spawned looking for Dashy as well. Both ARs.
Hold top
I
second.
got your wall for now.
Mirror, John.
One just needed mid, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Stunned on mid.
Wonderful insight there into LG's communication. Things seem to be going well, at least, but sadly, the communication not reflected in the scoreboard. Revan still a tied game, 0-0, and with LG on what many consider to be at least a preferred side here, you'd love to see him get at least one flag, if nothing else.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of tracking the players on the side of Complexity, making sure they know what lanes are open, what lanes there could be a player lingering by, but for the majority of that listening, it was Luminosity pinned back in their base, right? So the majority of their kills were just buying them like breathing room to push up on the map. Now they have established middle map control. You have JCap roaming between mid as well as over towards ruins. He's trying to flank around through Bell as it's LG trying to set up a push. With 50 seconds remaining here in the first half, it's going to be Blast. He has a chance to spoil us. Gets one to follow up up onto John, and now all he needs to do is tunnel vision onto the LG flag. Try to put a timer on this offensive push. You know in about 2 seconds, these players are going to come up off respawn, so you still have some time to play with.
And no one actually spawned back bridge either, so Blast is in a perfect position to try and get away. Sadly, not the case. 30 seconds left. If you're LG, what have you got left to show in this first half? Time is ticking, and it's worth mentioning Complexity have done such a wonderful job of keeping control of bunker pretty much for an entire 4.5 minutes. They haven't let it slip once at all.
Yeah, that's the key to that side, right? As soon as you give up bunker control, you start spawning out over towards back bell, and it's just a nightmare to rotate back to your flag. All the opposing team has to do is get a touch, dive into bunker, and then you're essentially home free. You're forced to kind of funnel over towards ruins where Sensor's about to exit, about to meet with some resistance. As the first half, it's going to end in a tie. 0-0. Complexity, once again, since they lead the series up 2-0, it's going to be Luminosity now. Their backs are still against the wall, and they have to bring a lot of aggression to this next side. They really need to step up the pace.
On the bright side for kind of both teams, I guess. No streaks, no extra utility on the map. That was just a box standard 5 minutes of Ardennes Forest. No one really able to make too much noise. I think the flag was pulled overall just 3 times, but didn't really get very far. Once for LG, twice for the likes of Complexity. So now we go into that second half. Complexity could be 5 minutes away from starting a miraculous run. And for LG, 5 minutes away from one of the most regrettable games that they can play here in Stage 2.
Agree with you there. To kick things off here in the second half, it's John. Searching on forward here for Luminosity, finding 2 opening kills. Now these last 2 guys for Complexity, you see them rotating on back, trying to back up through ruins, and it'll be Dashy to find the impactful kill onto John. And for the time being, that's going to slow down this Luminosity push. They're going to start to spread out the map. You have control. Now you're just looking for extra waves of kills so you could see if you could open up a lane and try to punch through for some offensive pressure.
Sensor's life was huge there. If Slack had found that opening,
Sensor's on a 5 spree.
Come through, and how close to streaks actually is he? Well, 200 points away.
And this is the big difference I'm seeing from Doug compared to weeks past. In other games, like in previous weeks, he would not lay down right there and just wait. He would just tunnel vision and continue to ramp up the pressure.
Oh.
And you've heard him talking about it on Hot Mic as well. He's looking to slow down a little bit as SMG player. They play a bit more reserved. And I think you can see it's a clear difference throughout this whole series.
Most definitely is. He's playing extremely well, but you need to keep that tempo up, though. It's all good and well doing it map 1, map 2, but if you slow down 3, 4, and 5, you're still going to end up losing a series. As LG once again look to try and apply the pressure. It's going to be slacked. Just the last man there for LG, trying to go for the flagpole, or at least keep some map pressure. There's now back over to Sensor for bunker side. There's 1, there's 2. Time to reload and let you.
And look at him slow down. Back up. He recognizes that he's tagged up. He knows that he has teammates behind him to follow up. Plus, you have Blast pushing through Bell, so that will force the spawns for Luminosity over towards the backside of bunker. And here comes a pinch for Complexity. They just need to find 1 or 2 opening kills, and there you go. Everybody falls on the side of LG. This is going to be a flag cap for Complexity.
You wanted 1, you wanted 2. Well, how about all 4, Revan?
That works too.
That'll do it. It's actually going to be Ricky trying to watch the cut. Now, bear in mind how close to streaks he was. Would have been maybe a little more opportunity if he'd killed his teammate to pull the flag and ultimately get the flag cap himself. Well, now he falls. No streaks for Ricky. Now over to Blast. Of course, he's relatively close after capping the flag, but still, we'll need to string together a couple of kills.
Yeah, Luminosity, you see them stacking over towards the cabin side of the map. Complexity in their round, while they were spawning on that top half of the map, they made sure just to control bunker. They didn't apply too much pressure through cabin, but we'll see if Slacked and JCap are able to make it work. It's actually going to be Cap as he rotates out. He gets cleaned up. Blast going to push on forward through you, and here's some opening kills for Luminosity. Can they make some offensive pressure happen off the back of this? Not looking likely, but they're going to push on through ruins. Let's see if they can find the kills.
And once again, it's Ricky and Dashy with the ARs just sat back. The lifeline of this Complexity squad. However, both will fall. Now, surely it's LG that can try and get a flag touch. That's all 4 players down. However, Ricky with a back bridge one. What can he do? Absolutely nothing. Formal guns him. Slack knows the spawn. Beautiful execution there from LG. This is without a doubt a flag cap. We're all tied up 1-1 with 2 minutes still to play.
Keep in mind, Formal was tagged up while all those engagements were going down with low health. He still manages to find a way to win those engagements,
and he's still going.
It's a tied game.
He's still going. Bear in mind how close to streaks he is. Tries to go for the pistol. Dashy, not sure if he realizes just how an important kill that is, but now John, a double kill. He finally falls. LG finally found some life in this series.
It's been a scrappy last minute and a half in this game, but Luminosity, they've risen to the occasion. They feel the pressure, and they've tied the game up, at least for the time being. With 1 minute 30 seconds remaining, they're staying alive in this game. As Formal continuing to slide 15 and 10 right now, leading his team alongside JCap as well as John. All 3 of those guys have 15 kills. Cat pushing through back ice, he gets cleaned up.
This is a testament to Formal's just mental ability if nothing else, right? When you're in these do or die moments, he's often a player who really does step up. You see him string together a ton of streaks, but now all of a sudden, Blast actually going to go for flagpole, and LG, they're basically funneling through ruins. They have nowhere else to go. The flag about halfway through the map. Now it just comes down to the defensive kills. Can Dashy clean up one? Yes, he can. John, the last player from LG who could stop this flag cap.
They spot him. Ricky tags him up. The flag inching closer and closer, and Complexity take the lead with 50 seconds remaining.
And Doug's relaying as well. No one tracked back. LG was forced to overextend. They didn't want to give away anything in Sensor.
That might
they
be
have
the game.
put the final nail in the coffin. The kills coming through for Complexity. Surely Sensor's able to dive this one home. Formal with a double, but he's not close enough. It's 3-1 with 30 seconds still to play.
And this is a tough situation for Luminosity. You see them, they can't afford to rotate back to their base. They haven't done so for the last minute and a half. That's opened up room for Complexity to overextend, get the flag out of the base. It's going to be Formal with the flag in his hands, but you need a perfect relay here.
You do. A perfect relay is absolutely needed. Through Complexity, want to OE.
They're rotating back.
This is high risk, high reward. Cap is going to get so unfortunate shot on his side. No one else from LG's there. You have 10 seconds to pull this flag. This has to go in straight away. Now, 5 seconds. No one's close enough. No one's going to get the flag. That could be it. Complexity. They've 3-0'd LG. They've 3-0'd LG in a game which LG had to win. You look at the schedule, the other games that they need to play against, their chances of playoffs is damn near impossible at this point. Meanwhile, if that's the Complexity we see for the rest of their games, well, who knows? Maybe they do make it to Stage 2 playoffs.
Things are getting more and more interesting as we're looking ahead towards the closure of Division B. The last couple of games here for all of these teams, we see all smiles on the faces of Complexity. And for the side of Luminosity, they now know where their fate is. It's going to be a tough couple of upcoming matches for them.
Uptick Gaming, Rise Nation, E-United. The 3 games left that LG need to play, and it is worth mentioning, based off current form of nothing else, I don't think they stand a chance.
And keep in mind, Luminosity, I watched them play last night in the Pro League Challenge against Lightning Pandas. They looked very flat. They got 3-0'd there. It was a rough start to the week for them, and it only continues to get worse as they kick off the Pro League and get 3-0'd by Complexity.
Of course, for Complexity, all smiles, rightfully so. Big series for them to really try and get back into the swing of things. Obviously, we mentioned LG schedule for Complexity. It is a little, quote, easier. LG, E-United, Mind Freak. Still some tough games. There's no real easy series in this division, that's for sure. But Complexity, of course, they'll tie themselves up at 6-6 now. So a pretty good potential that maybe they make it over towards playoffs. But what a result that is from them, and a potential big upset. So many people had LG making it to Stage 2 playoffs. Now, though, it could be damn near impossible. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Folks, welcome back. I think we all know it's the truth. Sensor is going to win champs. He's better than 95% of the other players here. Benson said it. It's law. 3-0 for Complexity. And this is going to have some pretty big implications as well when we actually look at the standings. Unilad is now 100% qualified for playoffs after that series, so good for Unilad. And I mean, they're already looking good, but let's talk about what Sensor was able to get done here. Momo, he looks absolutely out of his mind right now.
Yeah, I mean, Sensor, I think he came in with a bit of a point to prove. A couple of people doubting him. I think that's when Sensor kind of plays his best as well. But kind of coming in, slaying out, which again, we all know, like, isn't Sensor's kind of forte, but I think from his point of view, like he said, I think to Nameless after the game, he's just playing his own game. You know, went in there, played his own game, and I think, again, with so much on the line, some people thrive under pressure, some people crumble. I think Sensor is one of those players who likes to have that pressure on him, that will bring out the best in him, and it really did.
And someone said going into that, he had a 1.28 KD against JCap or something like that. Like, even headed into this matchup,
Such a beast.
He absolutely chewed up LG. And let's talk about LG. I mean, what are their chances now of making it to playoffs?
I mean, they could definitely still make it. They can go 2-2, and then they just need E United to lose. I mean, that's who they're competing with for that spot, as well as Complexity. They need both those teams to start losing. They need, it's not in their hands anymore. You know, they need some stuff to go down. But, I mean, right there, that 3-0 loss, you got to think, like, they got to bounce back from that. It's going to take a lot, and then losing like that as well, you're not looking too good. So in an extremely tough spot for Luminosity, I can't see them making it after that loss.
I mean, this is so good for Unilad. Obviously, they've made it to playoffs. Now LG, it's going to start looking really scary. Cole obviously has a huge road ahead of them.
Yeah, and for me as well, talking about Unilad for a second, obviously congratulations for making the playoffs. These pretenders aren't doing too bad right now. But they're looking for first seed. That's the craziest thing about it. I was just kind of hanging out with them after their game, and they're kind of working out, you know, if Cole win, like, does this mean? And we confirmed that, you know, they are in playoffs now, but it's how far can they really go? Because everyone was talking about Unilad versus Red, like the matchup first v fourth. Like, these don't even look like they're coming fourth. They're gunning for that top spot, and I think they play Tainted Minds, obviously today, which you expect a big win. And then they've got Optic Rise tomorrow. So that really decides it. So again, a lot of eyes are looking at who makes top 4, but I am keeping my eye out who gets that first spot as well, because Rise Optic, by all means, they have the fan base, you know, the favorites, if you like. But Unilad, they can blow it all out the water.
You know what's crazy? Tainted Mind's kind of the gatekeeper in a way, right? Because ultimately, they were able to take that series off of Optic. Now, if we do see them take the series off of Unilad, that would be absolutely insane. If Unilad takes it, though, still, Tainted Mind's having a big impact on the standings overall.
Absolutely. They could play spoiler. You know, it's like kind of them and Mind Freak and Luminosity now at that point. Because Luminosity, they want to win all their matches. So right now, those teams have potential to spoil some of those teams, you know, chances at getting first place. But that has to be such a huge match for Complexity. They can still make it in. They have the tiebreaker over E United. They beat them that first time around. So Complexity aren't in that bad of a spot if they just continue to win. They're going to need, you know, Luminosity to beat United, but other than that, Complexity's in a good spot. They just need you to lose a match or two.
Now, we're going to be moving on here to that Unilad Tainted Minds matchup that we already alluded to. That is going to be next. I want to say one thing, though, before we do move on. As you can see, we got a bunch of awesome matches today. Very excited to close out the day with Rise versus Optic as well. But I do want to say,